Hello, I'm Sarah Davis from Integrated Treatment Services and welcome to my blog. Today I am really excited to be sharing information about our forthcoming trip to Turkey. This is great timing. As many of you may be aware, it's the 10th European Day of Speech and Language Therapy being celebrated on the 6th of March. So it couldn't be better timing to sort of be sharing our stories and our photos around liaising with our international colleagues, looking at sharing best practice in speech and language therapy. So on the 14th of March, I'll be attending and speaking at a special needs articulation therapy conference. This has been set up by my colleague Ali Yildirim. Ali is a PhD student at De Montfort University. We both have a great interest in bringing together multidisciplinary teams to really achieve the best outcomes in therapy. So Ali's PhD project is also looking at sort of bringing together all the different disciplines to be able to best support therapy. That might be sort of education staff, it might be medical staff. It's also looking at sort of bringing together then sort of the different therapy teams, occupational therapy, arts therapies, speech and language, as well as then education and clinical psychology. So learning from each other of best practice, how we're working with clients, how we're working with the care groups, and how we can learn from each other's practice to really sort of implement excellent therapy assessments and ongoing therapy sessions. So at the conference I'll be touching upon the articulation therapy methods that we use here at Integrated Treatment Services. That will include talking about our use of talk tools, which we're really passionate about. So we'll be sharing how you might use these with adults and with paediatrics, and how we can really help to explore better eating and drinking as an outcome of using talk tools, and also better articulation, and also working along speech sounds, sort of phonological awareness at the same time. So that would be great. We're also going to touch upon using the cognitive neuropsychology model, how we can break down a client's speech and language difficulties. So are they having difficulty at the input level or at the output level, or both? So we'll have a look at sort of how we break down a client's needs and start to work on specific areas. We'll be touching upon resources such as the Nuffield Dyspraxia programme. I know a lot of the UK therapists are very much used to using sort of drilling techniques and very typical articulation therapy techniques to help support our clients. And of course we'll touch upon phonological awareness and phonological therapy, so we can share best practice with our Turkish colleagues. We will be looking at some apps as well, because we appreciate this is a really innovative way now of supporting our clients access speech and language therapy. Many of our clients have been using them even before referral, so it makes sense that we're really looking at what the most useful apps are out there for working on speech sound development, for working on articulation work, for both adults and for children. So I think, you know, we'll keep you updated along the way. I'll take plenty of photos, and we'll also I'll be writing blogs throughout my 10 days there, so we will share those. So do keep an eye on this blog and get updated with the most recent information. Just to then tell you a bit more about what we will be doing after the conference, we then have the fortunate opportunity to go and visit some of the universities out in Turkey. So we will be visiting the IPEC University and the Turgut Özal University. We'll also be visiting Faith University and the Suleiman Sağ University. So we're really looking forward to meeting our colleagues there and having some really useful discussions and demonstrations, hopefully, of some of the different therapy approaches that we're all using. We've also then got the opportunity to go and visit the Beyaz Academy of Speech and Language Therapy Clinic. So this is going to be really great to see some hands-on therapy, to be able to really start to share sort of hands-on work with each other and start to sort of cross skills between what they're using in this clinic and what we're using at Integrated Treatment Services back in the UK. And then finally, we'll also have the opportunity to go and visit the Anatomica private hospital. And this will be really great to see how they're working with, namely clients perhaps with voice difficulties, but a range of difficulties, and again sharing our assessment approaches and therapy approaches both in Turkey and back in the UK. As many of you may know, Turkey falls both within Europe and Asia, so it's typically called Eurasia. And I think it's going to sort of be a really exciting time to find out the influences of both cultures. It's really well placed to sort of see how the Asian approaches to speech and language therapy and multidisciplinary working are similar and different to how the Turkish system is, and also to how the UK system is. So I just can't say how excited we are, and we're really, we'll make sure we feed back on what we find out and to help share it with the wider community here through our blogs. The other thing that some of you may be aware of is around the International Communications Project. So the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists have been reporting quite a lot about this actually just last month and the month before in the bulletin, the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapy bulletin. You can find more about that online in the Royal College website. But also there is a International Communication Project website that you might be interested in looking at, which is www.communication2014.com. So 2014 in numbers obviously there. Do have a look, because obviously it really is great to see what's happening across the international field in speech and language therapy. It's becoming one greater a big sort of giving voice campaign, how we can reach right the way across the international community and sharing best practice, looking at what we're using at an undergraduate level, how we train up and skill speech and language therapists for the future, what approaches we continue to use as part of our assessment and therapy. So do have a look. There's also an international site which is www.cplol.eu. Just to give you a little bit of background, the organisations which have come together are known as the Mutual Recognition Associations, known as the MRS. So these represent 6 countries where qualifications and professional body memberships are mutually recognised. So the International Association of Logopedics and Phoniatrics, which is really the closest thing to the World Organisation for Speech and Language Therapy, they formally endorsed the project. So that's really exciting to see, and obviously will carry great weight. So we'll keep you updated. Thank you for listening today and for watching our blog. And do keep a check on the blogs over the coming 2 weeks.